Alright, so, this is going to be my review of Shazam, Meet the Captain. This is a comic that was sent to me by my friend Chris. Chris, thank you once again. Yeah, so, here we are. This was a book that was sent to me a while back. I just needed to get time to get to it. This is as you guys know, I really love Shazam as a character, the whole lore of it. This is written by also Mark Waid with artwork by Dan Mora, who Dan Mora is slowly becoming, I think, probably one of my favorite artists of recent era. Dan Mora is definitely becoming one of those artists where I'm like, damn, he can do that art. He's one of those, he don't miss, he don't do anything, he can do no wrong. He's becoming slowly one of my favorite artists. There are a few others, other artists that I would put a little higher, but Dan Mora, I would say, is in contention for like top 10 favorite artists. Yeah, so let's talk about this story. Yeah, so this basically has, what has happened is that Billy is just kind of enjoying time as Shazam, or as they call him, the Captain. They bring up the whole thing of, like, people call me Shazam, but, like, if I say it, I lose my powers. So, it's kind of counterproductive, so they used to call me something else, so now I just go by the Captain. Because you can't call yourself Captain Marvel anymore, apparently. Yeah. I like the little in-joke there. I do enjoy the little in-joke, for the comic. That, yeah, he was Captain Marvel, and his power was Shazam, but it was, like, confusing. I like that. But, yeah. So, in here, also the other thing is, Mary Marvel is the only other one outside of the Captain Marvel, of the Shazam family, that has powers, because she got her powers from different gods now. The rest of the family, if you guys remember, in the rest of the family, like Freddy and the other adopted kids, they all had powers of Shazam too, but they lost it during some chicanery. So now only Billy and Mary are the only two that get power, or that have powers now. And Freddy's admittedly kind of busted up about it, but he's still supportive and has a webpage for Shazam. So, however, one day Shazam just goes off the rails and starts yelling at people and freaking out, even coming close to killing Psycho Pirate. But it turns out that there is a other force behind this, and that is the actual gods and heroes that give Shazam that Shazam gets his powers from, and they're all jockeying to take control of who they consider the champion. Their whole thought process is, we gave Billy the power, let him use our powers because we want mankind to worship us again. But instead, he's doing dumb shit like, protecting mankind and for the betterment of their species. We're meant to be worshipped. Which does bring up the whole thing of, like, wow, the Greek god, Mark Waid remembered that the Greek gods are assholes. And they're all treated like a bunch of frat kids. Like, the DC universe, and I mean the Marvel universe has done this too, where it's like, they've basically kind of jockeyed to be like a bunch of douchebags. And yeah, that really does track if you know your Greek mythology. I know Solomon isn't part of the Greek mythology, but even he's like, yeah, he's basically like, he's kind of, Billy isn't the right guy. While this is going on, you have that's kind of the overarching story arc of the Greek the Greek gods trying to take control of Billy's body. Whereas there are other things going on, like space dinosaurs, you heard that right, going to Gorilla City, and even doing battle with the Emperor of the Moon. There is a lot that happens in these 6 issues, and I do stress a lot. And I think sometimes that kind of leads to the detriment of the comic. Don't get me wrong, I really like this story. Mark Waid really knows, and it's clear that Mark Waid really likes writing DC over Marvel. You can clearly see from both, like, this comic and, his love for Superman and Batman in the World's Finest comics. You clearly see it. But there is so much that goes on. Like, you have an Emperor of the Moon, you have space dinosaurs, but it's all really good. Like, it's all really fun. It really, like, Mark Waid knows how to invoke that. Mark Waid really knows how to invoke that whole, like, fun feel of the early 1920s, 30s Golden Age comics through Shazam. So it's a really solid idea. It has some really fun fun with it, like having Talkie Tawny in here. And again, Dan Mora's artwork is really fun. Like it's solid. You can really see why Mark Waid really likes working with Mora on a lot of his projects. He's just so vibrant with colors and knows what you can do with shading. It's solid. I really like this book. Does it try to do a lot in like even for 6 issues? There's a lot that goes on in here. And I will say that the overarching story of the Greek gods trying to take control of Billy's body, they do bring up a point where, like, oh, Freddie Freeman discovers, this whole thing, and then but then he's made to forget, so they have to rediscover it. It's like, we're doing the same thing twice. I feel like you played your hand a little high there, Mark. But all in all, despite that gripe, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really fun, and it's just fun to see Shazam get another ongoing after so long. I'm really excited to see where they go with this whole overarching story of the space dinosaurs, because, again, space dinosaurs, it's amazing. And it's also, we're building up to, for the second story arc, a clash between him and Black Adam, because you can't have Shazam without Black Adam. So if you want to read, like, some more Shazam comics and also want to have, like, fun Golden Age feel to your books, look no further than, Mark Waid's Shazam. It's very clear he loves writing it. It's clear that he and Dan Mora have a lot of love and respect for the lore and the characters. It's just all around fun. It's just an all-around fun book. Is it a little clustered? Yeah, but I think that the chaoticness of that story does kind of work itself out throughout the 6 issues. But yeah, so I highly recommend it. I can't wait for Volume 2. Chris, thank you once again for the comic. And if you've read Mark Waid's Shazam, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.